Hi everybody, welcome to another video. So those that watch my Instagram feed will know that I've got a couple of new guns from China. I've got a WLS400, which is one of the 4 split tip guns, the Avalon, and I've also bought a Dram. Now this is an SLS718. I really don't know what that means. It means nothing really, but it's just the model number of it. But what it's designed to be is like a Kiwami4, but it's the split tipped version. So let's just get that out. We'll have a quick look at that in a minute. But what you also get is the cup. Now the cup is a 16mm by 1.6mm fitting. Female on the gun, obviously male on the cup, and that's the same as like the Porpish guns and quite a few of the other Chinese guns. So most of your adapters will fit that. It's not the same as the proper NSI water guns. And the other gun we've got is Avalon. Now this is a 4 split tip gun. Again, that takes the same, in fact it comes with exactly the same cup as the Dram does. So this is a 4 split tip version. It's got a purple caps. We'll run through that in a minute. Let's get this lot out of the way. So that's what you get. You get the normal spanners and a cup, etc. But what I wanted to look at is more the interchangeability of these things with the original guns. Now this is, as I say, designed to be and it's actually, in fact, if you have got Instagram, go and have a look. And I did a little video of one over the top of the other, and they are like identical to each other as far as that goes. The finish on the Iwata is nicer. It's a chrome finish rather than this is just a normal like satin finish. It's heavier. Not by loads, but probably about 50 grams. But otherwise, it's trying to mimic it. And as far as looks wise, etc. goes, it does it very, very well. What you will notice with these two guns is with the Dram, I don't know where they come up with these names. Would you name a spray gun a Dram? But anyway, this is the WBX cap, which is what it's effectively trying to be, but it's quite different. Well, I say it's quite different. It is different. If you can see, the exit holes here on the air horns on the WB are actually larger. The result of that is that the Dram actually uses probably about 2 CFM less. This thing, 2 bar or 29 PSI, which is what I recommend, uses about 12 CFM, 12.5 CFM. I reckon this uses about 10. So although it's not the same, it's actually, for a lot of people, that might be relevant because it might allow you to have a split tip gun that doesn't use loads of air, because most of them do seem to use a lot of air. Now what I was going to say about interchangeability, so with the Dram and the Kiwami4, you can actually interchange the tips, not the needles, because the needles are actually a slightly different length, but you can interchange the tips and you can also interchange the caps. So this one here is the Dram cap. That fits, seals and works perfectly well on the Kiwami. So if you have a Kiwami4 non-split tip, in theory you can get a Dram and swap them over so that you've got effectively a WBX type gun. Having said that, you may as well just use the Dram as it is rather than go to the expense. But I know that the tips on these things are very expensive, but the tips are exactly the same. Let's just whip it out to show you what I mean. Now one of these ones, I actually looked at these a couple of days ago and I can't remember which way round it was, but the holes are a slightly different size in one of these guns. I am pulling the needle back, by the way, for those that are observant. Yeah, it's this one. So the proper original NSI water actually also has larger air holes than are in the Dram cap. So it's like a toned down version of the WBX. effectively. So the parts are interchangeable. As I say, whether it's actually worth doing that or not is down to you, really. I'm pretty sure the needles were a different size. I've been doing so much swapping about lately. I try not to get... Right, so that's the Iwata one. There's the needles. Yeah, one's a bit longer than the other. The original Iwata needle is slightly longer. So I need to keep that with that so I don't get confused. The tips are actually marked. I'm sure the needles are marked as well. But so that's that. We're going to do a little spray out with them and see what kind of pattern we get with them. Not compared to the original, but I will get a proper video up comparing them to the original to see what they actually spray like, and an independent video as well to see what they spray like. The other one I've got is the Avalon. But going back to this, the build quality of it actually seems quite good. This cost me about $97 US. They are about round about, and this varies depending where you are, but they're around about 107 at the $107 US at the moment. But they had some kind of, I think it was May Day or something, it was some kind of thing, and it was just a discount thing, and it was genuine because I bought both of them at the same time. This one is normally about 170 US dollars in the UK anyway, about 170 US dollars, and I got this for about 142 US dollars. I have seen some sellers that sell it slightly cheaper, but I got it all from the same shop basically. But what I will say with this is it's actually lighter than the Dram, but what I will say with this is that it's actually, it doesn't seem as well made as the Dram. Although it's more money, it doesn't seem as well made. For example, if you, I don't know whether this is going to come out on camera, can you see this part here where the casting, now that's as if it's come out the casting, that bit there, and it's also a bit there as well, which maybe you can see just here. But it's like it's come out the casting, it's a bit rough, but they've still just chrome plated it. I don't think it's going to affect the longevity, but it just makes you think it's a bit of a rush job and probably not brilliant, you know. But a lot of people raved about them. I wasn't going to get one because I'd got the Porpish guns, which are definitely on a different level to these. But when I got the Porpish guns, I thought, well, I really don't need one of these. But a lot of people have said to me, you should try one. And, you know, for the channel, I thought it was probably worth getting one. But again, I'm pulling the lever back. Again, with these, the tip is interchangeable with the WBX. This is actually a Belaria with a WBX tip and cap, etc. But it's the same as the WB, this one. But the WB and the WBX and all the same fittings. But these tips, so the 4 split tip you get on this Avalon is interchangeable with the W400s, so the WB, the WBX, and also obviously the LPH400s. All the LPH400s are the same bodies as these, so they are all interchangeable. The cap, however, isn't interchangeable. Now, this has got a peculiar thread, peculiar to itself, because it doesn't fit the Kiwami and it doesn't fit the W400s or the LPH. I've got an LPH, as I say, the LPH and W400, exactly the same body. They've also got effectively the new sealing mechanism. If you look there, you see the sealing ring here, the white sealing ring round here. That is like a lot of people do, a lot of manufacturers do with their air caps. That is actually in the side of the air cap. So there's a little bit of a ridge here, just here, that ring seals on, and that's how you get your seal around the cap. With a lot of the earlier NSI waters, even down to the WS400s, etc., they all have this flat washer at the front. So there isn't a recess there for the seal to go. It simply lays flat on top here. So that's your sealing point, is when you put that on top of there, that's how it seals. So it actually seals differently. So even if the threads on this were the same, it wouldn't, I don't think it would seal properly, because it just wouldn't go all the way down, because that seal's in the way. Likewise, although the Dram and the Kiwami4 also has that new sealing mechanism. The Kiwami versions and the new Series 2 LS and WS400s all have this sealing ring on the outside, actually set into the bezel of the cap. The Dram also has that as well, as you would expect, as I said, because they are interchangeable with the Kiwami. So this thing is actually out on its own, really. So if you were thinking of buying one of these and using the cap and the tip on a LPH400 or your W400 WBX or WB, you could use the tip, but you can't use the cap, because they just don't interchange. And the sealing point is different as well. So you could probably take the center out. Actually, I haven't bothered taking the center out, but the center looks exactly the same size, so you could probably take the center out and use your old cap. I know a lot of people do that, because stuff is so expensive for the iWaters that you can buy one of these and use the tip and the cap cheaper than you can to buy a tip set or a cap normally for the iWaters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it together, and we're just going to try these two, see what sort of pattern we get, and then later on I will bring you a proper review of both guns individually, and you know, we'll put it up against something. We'll put that up against maybe the WS400 or the LPH400, something like that, and we'll put the Kiwami4 WBX up against the Dram, because that's effectively what they're trying to be. All right then guys, I'll stick a camera on my head and we'll see what pattern we get. So we'll start off with the Dram. It's a 1.3. The WLS is actually a 1.4. So this is 1.3, the free split tip. I use the NS water spanner. It's 7 inches long, so 175mm long, to give us an idea of distance. And we just do a couple of squirts. Fluid's on full, fan is on full. Obviously the onboard control for the air is on full, and we've set it, hopefully you can see, for 2 bar, which is 29 psi. So let's have a go. Nice big pattern, slightly top heavy, that's probably me. Let me just even myself out a bit and we'll see what we get. Yeah, it was me, looks better like that. It's just that I'd angled the gun slightly, that's all. So I'll swap over to the other one and we'll see what kind of pattern that makes. Both of these are actually made in Taiwan rather than China, by the way. So I'll stick the thingy bob on the cup on the other one and we'll see what pattern it produces. I've just put an adapter in there. It's just so that all my DeVilbiss stuff, everything DeVilbiss, fits in there. Then I've done that with the Porpish guns and that. Right, let's swap them over and see what we get. So we're having a look now at the WLS400 plus, whatever that means. What I was going to also say, which I forgot to in the video, or at the start of the video, was they make actually 3 different type caps for this. They're trying to mimic the the LPH400. So they're doing a purple one. They also do an orange one, which is the LVX cap. They don't call it an LVX, but that's what it's trying to mimic. And they also do a green one, which isn't normally there. The other cap is normally a silver cap. But looking at the photos of the different caps, they're actually all the same, which is a typical thing that happens with Chinese, Taiwanese manufacturers. They tend to mark it differently and make it look differently and say it's for different things, but it's actually the same. And as far as I can see in all the photos, these 3 caps are exactly the same. So this is a purple one, but I don't think it really matters that much. Anyway, we're going to set it to 2 bar. I suspect it'll actually work perfectly well below that, but 2 bar, we'll see. If the pattern splits, then we know that it's too much pressure for it, and we'll back it off. This is a normal high solids clear coat, not a UHS but a HS clear coat, so it's reasonably thick. Let's see what we get. So it's drawing 2 bar, so 29 psi. I've literally just swapped this one from the Dram onto this. So this is actually using the same as the Dram. So it's going to be using less than an LPH400 does. I know that for a fact, because the LPH400, if you were to use it at 2 bar, it uses loads of air. But anyway, let's see what this thing can do. Again, we use our trusty spanner. Let's see what we've got. Oh, there's definitely a much wider pattern, isn't it? Yeah, they're quite different patterns, really. This is going to be a wetter pattern. That's going to be, I reckon this is going to be better for clear coat, and this is going to be better for base coat. That's normally what happens when you get an eye pattern like that. It's normally very good for blending base coat. And putting base coat down, and normally a wetter, slightly smaller wetter pattern is better for clear coat, certainly for me anyway. But there you go, guys. So there's your pattern. It's about 11.5 inches, 280-290 mil, and that one is around about 10.5 inches, 260 mil, something like that. I'll get, as I say, I'll get proper reviews up on them, and we'll see what they're like. But yeah, it's definitely something a bit different, I guess. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching as always. Bye bye.